Back in the day, while boys played Pokemon, real men played Monster Rancher. I still clearly remember my first experience with the franchise. My older brother brought home Monster Rancher 2 one day. We were both amazed by the fact that every CD we had contained a unique monster. And I tell you what, my simple Pokemon brain, which was used to Game Boy Color graphics, was blown away by what I was seeing. My brother, however, wasn't super interested in grinding when it comes to games like this. So he left me alone with the PS1 and all of our CDs, and I was expected to see what kind of cool or disturbing monsters were hiding within them. Although I knew it was gonna take a while, I went about trying to document everything. You know, as in which CDs contained which monsters. Baby Editor Man felt like a real scientific researcher or something. But there was one problem I kept running into over and over. Most of the time, I would get a message from the game saying that there was a rare monster on the disc, but I wasn't authorized to see it. My curiosity was certainly piqued. Rare secret monsters that I had to unlock? But how do I unlock them? Do I have to beat all the tournaments in the game? Or is there more to it than that? Later on, my brother tried to get into the game, but his monsters kept dying too quickly, and he didn't care enough to learn more about the game and quickly moved on to other stuff, like Pro Evolution Soccer and Grand Theft Auto. You know, the more fun games, according to him anyway. To be fair, you can't run over or take out a Women of the Night in Monster Rancher or Pokemon. It's an unfortunate missing feature, I'm sure we can all agree. As for me, I had fallen deep into the rabbit hole by that point. I didn't have much internet access in those days, but with my little notebook in hand, I went about trying to discover every secret that the game wanted to keep from me. I don't exactly remember what happened, but I ended up losing that Monster Rancher 2 disc somehow. I think a friend borrowed it from me and then lost it, but I'm not sure. When I went back to the game store with some saved up pocket money, they didn't have Monster Rancher 2 anymore. The game was pretty old by that point, and I was out of luck. But they did happen to have a pre-owned copy of Monster Rancher 1 lying around. I thought, hey, it's still Monster Rancher, let's go! So I hurried back home, popped in the disc into my PS1, and grabbed every CD I could find. And as I went through the process of generating monsters, once again, a familiar message began to greet me every now and then. Little Editor Man had found yet another rabbit hole to lose himself in. And let me tell ya, Monster Rancher 1 has plenty of weird, strange secrets when it comes to unlocking its rare monsters. And today, I'm gonna tell you about all of them. So I hope you've got your snacks and about 10 liters of Pepsi ready, for we are about to discover all the secrets of Monster Rancher 1. First, let's talk about how things work in this game. After naming your character, you'll be treated to a bit of dialogue as your assistant, Holly, joins you. After that, you could go to the market to get your first monster. There are some basic, yet still very cool, options available here. I've always been a big fan of dinosaurs, so I am pretty heavily biased when it comes to dino. But if you don't want to go to the market, you could go to the shrine. Any CDs that you may have lying around, assuming you are playing this game on a legitimate PS1, can be used to generate a fancy new monster. Every CD hides a secret, you could say. And really, why wouldn't you be playing this on a PS1? Every person should have one of those, set up in their homes after all. Anyway, as you continue to shrine monsters, you will eventually hit this dreaded message, meaning you haven't unlocked this monster yet. We'll get to that soon enough. Once you do have a friend by your side, the majority of your time would be spent training it to prepare them for the many challenges ahead. You do that by making them work for money. There are all kinds of jobs that your new friend can do, like pulling a cart, hunting for food, or working at the circus. 'Cause why not? All of these activities do lead to stat gains for your monster, assuming they succeed at doing the work properly. If they don't, well, that's pretty much a wasted week for them. You could give them a few harsh words for failing if you want to, but ideally, you want them to succeed whenever possible, as all monsters have a limited lifespan. Once that's gone, they will die. Naturally, you don't want that to happen. You would want to keep them alive as long as possible, right? So don't stress them out or exhaust them too much. Let them rest after every couple of activities. Now, of course, there is a lot more that we could talk about when it comes to raising monsters as best as possible, but this video isn't about that. I'm sure there are plenty of videos out there which covered that aspect of this game quite well. Anyway, as your monster becomes stronger, you will obviously want them to fight other monsters to prove their superiority. Well, that's where tournaments come in. You start at the lowest possible rank, but you can, slowly over time, raise your rank to participate in bigger, fancier tournaments. For winning, you can get money, items that you can use or sell for more money, and even something special that could lead you to a secret monster. And your friend can become famous too. You can even get fan mail in this game, as in handwritten letters. How adorable. As your monster becomes more recognized, an old man would begin to stop by on certain dates, asking to take your monster to certain locations for an expedition. These expeditions, or adventures as I like to call them, are where a lot of secrets are hidden, but you don't want to take just any monster there. To be successful, you need to send an intelligent monster, one that has a high int stat, basically. Ideally, you want to have at least 300 int and up to 700 if possible. You see, on these adventures, you will find places that your monster can investigate. If they have high intelligence, they can find items, including some very rare ones that you would really want to get your hands on. Now, it is worth mentioning that these rare items can often be found in more than one location during these adventures. If you would like to check out detailed maps for these adventures, you can do so at legendcup.com, and I highly suggest taking a look if you would like more information about everything. In this video, I'm just gonna tell you about how and where I found them to keep it simple. Anyway, having a high intelligence also lowers the chance of your monster getting lost, although there is always a tiny chance of that happening no matter what. If it does happen, just reset and try again. Make sure to always save before going on an expedition. Your monster would also need to have usable power and skill stats. As you go and explore a location, there can be some obstacles in the way which would need to be removed. Some of them require power, while others require skill or even intelligence to remove. Ideally, you would want your power and skill to be around at least 300. A higher stat gives you a better chance of removing the obstacle, but you never need more than 600 of either power or skill. In any case, if you get unlucky with finding the items you want or getting rid of the obstacles, feel free to reset and try again. That's the noble way after all. Also, if you remove an obstacle during an adventure, that obstacle stays removed during future trips to that location. Now then, with all that out of the way, let's dig into the secrets hiding within this game. The first one we will talk about is likely going to be the first secret you come across as well. You will need to get your monster to C class, with 40 or more fame. If those conditions are met, then during the second week of January, you will be visited by Karn the Explorer. He would like to take your monster and Holly to the Titus Temple. This is the very first expedition that you can go on, and you have to go to this temple first, before you can go anywhere else. On a side note, there is a tiny check before an adventure begins. If your monster passes, you'll get 14 days. Otherwise, you'll get 10. I think this is random, but I'm not entirely sure, so just reset until you get the 14 days. Once the expedition begins, all you have to do is go straight, no turns or anything. You'll run into a power-based obstacle. As long as your monster has some decent power, it'll be able to break through eventually. After that, keep going straight up until you find this location. It's the main hall, or what's left of it, of the Titus Temple. But we don't really care about the lore here. We care about the secrets hidden in the rubble. Now, have your monster investigate this place. At 300 plus intelligence, you'll have a 6.3% chance of finding what we're looking for. That goes up to 9.4% with 600 plus in that stat though. Either way, you do need a bit of luck to get it. But eventually, you will find this. This is the old mirror, which will play an important role in unlocking the magic monster. We are pretty much done with the expedition now, so let's head back. Back home, Karn will tell us quite a bit about magic, and it is pretty interesting actually. It seems that they were self-conscious about their appearance, so they often took on the form of two monsters, who fans of this franchise would be quite familiar with. As a fan myself, I did always wonder what exactly was going on with Gali and Monol. There did appear to be some sort of strange monstrosity hiding within them, and Monster Rancher 1 provides an intriguing answer. Now, we need to get our friend to A class. After that's done, we'll eventually get an invitation to a special fight, which would be held on the 4th of November. When the time comes around, we need to enter the Gold Cup. There's only one competitor here besides our monster, and the prize is pure gold, along with something more important. Before we can get down to business, Karn talks about his creepy, kind of obsessive devotion to magic, as in the monster and not the art form. It seems Karn has bred magic monsters. The thought makes me uneasy. You'll see why in a moment. Anyway, our opponent is Sorrow, and okay. Now, if you have never seen the magic monster before, you might feel a bit awkward about it. Heck, I already feel uncomfortable, just from that chibi. But yeah, magic looks like a person. A very tanned person. But it just looks like one. It's important to keep that in mind. For in this game, magic is a monster that you could just keep as a pet if you wanted to. Told you it would be uncomfortable. In any case, Sorrow is pretty dang strong. It annihilated my baby Mumu in one shot. But then again, my baby has one defense, so that's kinda expected. But I did get Sorrow in round 2 though. A couple of demon punches landed right on the family jewels to put Sorrow down. Afterwards, we learned the secret behind obtaining a magic for ourselves. The old mirror is needed, but we would also need 2 specific monsters, a pure Gali and a pure Monol. The lore is playing a role in the gameplay. I love it when that happens. We need to combine those 2 monsters at the lab, while using the mirror as the combination item. You're gonna have to find the Gali and Monol on your own though. Keep checking your CDs on your legitimate PS1 until you do. I should mention though that if you already knew what to do, then you don't have to compete in this tournament at all. Once you get the old mirror, you can try to make a magic right away. Once you do create your first magic, you can then get them at the shrine from any CDs you have that contain one. That's true for all the secret monsters, essentially. So here's a fun bit of trivia. Many people believe that magic was based off of Magic Johnson, the renowned basketball player. That is actually not the case. It was based off of a being known as Majin, which could be translated to magical person or demon person. Still, I do see why people thought it was based off of Magic Johnson. It's a disturbing thought though, right? But you should feel free to take magic to the ranch and do whatever you feel like doing to it, or with it. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Okay, let's just move on to the next one. During the second week of July, Karn will visit the ranch again, this time wanting to take a trip to Heartville Ruins. Remember, the Titus Temple expedition has to be completed before this one can be taken on. At the ruins, from the entrance, go right from the first obstacle. Up, then up again, and then left, up, and finally left again. You will arrive at the Sun Shrine. Now have your monster investigate this shrine. If it has 600 plus intelligence, you will have a nice 12.5% chance of finding the item we're here for. And that item is a bunch of bananas. These aren't ordinary bananas though. These are magic bananas. Well, more like magic banana, singular. Even though we can see a bunch of them, there's only one here, apparently. With that in our possession, we now need 2 monsters. They can be any type or breed, but they do need to be a couple of spoiled brats. You see, your monster has a style that can be seen on the main screen. If you treat your friend really nicely, they'll end up spoiled eventually. You could speed up the process by feeding them a bunch of apple cakes from the store. That will spoil and fatten them up real quick. Once you have 2 spoiled monsters, you have to combine them at the lab, while using the magic banana as the combination item. And with that, you will have your very own monkey, or ape, as the game prefers to call it. With an ape by your side, you can really get down to some monkey business. For the next one, you will need a B rank monster. In the 4th week of April, you need to compete in the B-level Trial Cup tournament. In here, there is a dragon called Macam competing alongside you. It's got some pretty good stats across the board, with some serious skill. So if you have a speedy monster, like me, you may have a bad time here, unless your speed is really high. My baby Mumu got thrashed by a body slam, which looks like a fire breath attack and not a body slam, so yeah, that's odd. This one took a while for me. Moo kept getting body slammed by the fire breath. But eventually, Moo hit the dragon in its special place with a demon punch for the win. Persistence is the key, as they say. Always keep your eyes on the prize, or in this case, on the special place. After winning the tournament, Teska, another old man, randomly shows up on the ranch to talk about what just happened. He mentions that Moo was amazing for punching that dragon in the nuts, and that everyone was impressed. Now, we need our monster to get to the A grade as soon as possible. If you want to be super efficient, then there is an official tournament on the 4th week of June. Then, in the 1st week of July, if our monster is of the appropriate grade, we will be invited to a special invitational match on the 4th week of August. On that week, you have to get your monster ready for a real fight. It's just you and a dragon, 1v1. This dragon is called Megarus. I'm not sure what the correct pronunciation is. In terms of numbers, it's got way more int than the previous one. Otherwise, it's pretty similar. Baby Moo got one dragon punch to the groin, but it wasn't enough, and then got destroyed immediately afterwards, as the dragon took a big bite out of it. This one was pretty tough too. Moo got bit, set on fire, tail slapped, head butted, you name it. This dragon had a variety of ways to inflict pain, and it wasn't afraid of doing it. That massive skill meant that the dragon had a very high chance of hitting with basically everything. It had a very good chance of just finishing Moo off in the first few seconds of the fight, in fact. But we had the power to reset time, which gave us infinite opportunities. And eventually, we got the RNG we needed to demon punch this dragon in the cojones twice in quick succession, ensuring that this dragon won't be having any fun anytime soon. For winning, we get the dragon tusk. But that's not all, as we learn the secret to obtaining a dragon in its entirety. Like with magic, we will need some specific monsters. In this case, a couple of very specific ones. We will need a dino that has a naga for the subbreed, and a naga that has a dino for the subbreed. As long as you can find some nagas, you can just combine them with the dinos from the market until you get the specific ones that are required. Or you could just get lucky with the shrine too, I suppose. After that, all we have to do is combine the grape and the stinger while using the dragon tusk as the combination item, and we'll get a dragon out of it, somehow. There's some weird primal DNA stuff going on in there that I'm not smart enough to understand, I guess. Dragons don't tend to live as long as other monsters, but they look really cool. And that is what's most important at the end of the day. As the old people used to say thousands of years ago, coolness triumphs over everything. Alright then, now you will need to get your hands on a monol. You know, one of the monsters we used to summon Magic Johnson, magic, earlier. You'll need a pure monol for this too. Now, you need to get this monol to win some tournaments. Some training will be needed beforehand, obviously, so that it would actually listen to you in battle. A high loyalty is always a good thing, and it goes up by itself as you spend time with your monster. Once you have it in a good enough shape, keep winning the E-class tournaments until you get the monol's fame over 80. At this point, win the official E-class tournament to get this monol to the D grade. Now, participate in an E-class tournament again. Even if you win, your fame will go down, as viewers will think that you're bullying weaker monsters for no reason, like a coward. You need to get your fame to go under 65, which should be pretty easy to do. When you return to the ranch, you will see that something horrible has happened. A disgruntled fan has drawn some weird stuff on your monster. Truly tragic. And is that a swear word that rhymes with duck? I'm not sure. Anyway, Teska comes along again to talk about what happened. He says that combining this monol with another monster could lead to an interesting outcome. We'll look into that in a moment. But yeah, now your monol has permanently turned into a scribble. It's still basically a monol, functionally speaking. Scribble cannot be acquired from the shrine and must be made this way, as far as I can tell anyway, but there is more to this secret. Next, we have to head to the lab and combine this scribble with any other monster. Even though the potential results don't show anything out of the ordinary, we will still get a very unique monster out of this. The weird drawing has come to life. I'm sure you're thinking, what sort of satanic nonsense is this? And well, I've always wondered how this happened. Was the graffiti special? Does that mean it was drawn by some sort of evil sorcerer or something? And not a random disgruntled fan? Who knows? The game never elaborates on this. In battle, this thing can summon a woman's heel to crush its foes. Why? Well, why not? It is how it is, and we must accept it. The devil works in mysterious ways. And there is still more to this secret. When you use the scribble in a combination, you can either get the sketch, like the one I got here, or you could get a doodle. Doodle is pretty much the same, just drawn slightly differently. If the two combined monsters have a loyalty of 101 or more, doodle will be the result. Otherwise, you will get a sketch. According to the in-game description, it appears that Sketch is the bad guy. Sure, why not? Although Doodle looks like a degenerate too to me, I doubt either one is actually good. Now you can get the special Doodle breeds from your CDs, if you're lucky enough to have them. And who wouldn't want Jacquez, the Doodle with a flower on its head? Or maybe you would prefer Disrupt, and why wouldn't you? It's got shades! But if you do want to know about the origins of these creatures, then take a look at the old arcade game Gambare Genkun. It was also developed by Tecmo, and it seems pretty obvious that this is where Doodle and his weirdo buddies came from. In any case, if you want to train something a bit out of the ordinary, then this cursed abomination might be just what you need to impress all the girls. And that, after all, is the end goal for most people. Now, the next thing I want to talk about may not lead to a secret monster, but it is an intriguing mystery in itself. You're going to need a worm for this. They are available from the beginning of the game, so you just have to find a CD that can give you one. Any worm will do. Now train this worm as best you can. Treat it with love and patience. Cradle it at night as it sleeps in your arms. Tell it bedtime stories and all that stuff. Go into battle with it and guide it to many victories. Or if you don't want to do all that, here are the specific requirements that need to be met. Your worm must be grade C or less. It must have a loyalty greater than 80, and it must be in the 3rd year of its life. If all of these specifications are met, then all you have to do is make sure that the worm has no stress or fatigue on the 4th week of June. Rest it a few weeks leading up to that to be safe. If you did all that correctly, then your worm will go into a cocoon. And then the cocoon will hatch and you will get a new monster that has worm as the subtype. Very cool, I think. This new monster will have pretty much the same stats, stat gains and will generation of the worm you had before. In addition, this new monster will get 100 weeks of additional lifespan. The worm's moves will be changed, obviously, to fit your new friend. Also, the resulting monster is random, so you can reset to get different ones, and see which one you like the most. I kept resetting to get the Pixie variant, but I ended up with the Golly one, and I was okay with that too. When you think about it, the conditions to make this happen are quite bizarre. Like, how is someone supposed to figure this out? Oh, and why is the grade requirement a thing? What does that have to do with anything? But that is just how old games used to be. Batshit insane at times, but still great. The next secret that I want to talk about might be the most convoluted one in the entire game. First, we have to go to the 3rd and final expedition. On the 2nd week of October, Karn will show up once more, and this time he wants to go to Reno. Here, we need to find 4 freaking rare items. That's right, just one rare item is not gonna be enough this time. From the starting point, go straight, then left, and then left again. You should arrive at this place. Now, have your monster investigate. With over 600 intelligence, you'll have a 9.4% chance of finding the items we're after. With enough luck, you'll find this. It's the arm or hand of a clay doll, modeled after a mysterious secret monster. Keep searching here until you find the other arm as well. Now, here's where things get a bit strange. According to the data, there is a location right next to the one we're at, where the 2 legs can be found. All you have to do to get there is try to go back and take a left again. I tried searching here for a long while, but I found nothing. To make things worse, my monster apparently had an absurdly high chance of getting lost here. This did not happen anywhere else. And I took my sweet time when it came to exploration during expeditions. This specific place, at least for me, was cursed. So I went back and decided to try again during next year's trip. Back home, Teska drops by again and talks about finding all the pieces of the clay doll. While the 4 pieces can be found during the expedition to Reno, the head has to be won during an invitational match, like the dragon tusk from earlier. But first, we gotta get our hands on those legs. This time around, go up, right, up, and then up again, until you get through a couple of obstacles, and then left. Here, you can actually find both the arms as well as the legs. If you already found the arms, you can get them again too. Although there's no point, as you don't really need more than one. And they don't even sell for much money either. Keep going until you find all 4 arms and legs. This may take some time to do, and you may even have to reset multiple times to get the required RNG. But once you're done, it's time to get out of Reno. For now. Next, you'll need an A-grade monster by your side. Then, on the first week of January, you'll be invited to a special invitational match on the 4th week of February. When the time comes around, make sure your monster is ready and join the invitational. It's a 1v1 fight against a hanger known as Gora. It's got some really nice stats with plenty of speed and skill. Once again, my baby Mumu got kicked around for quite a long time here. Because of the hanger's high speed, I had a very low chance to even hit. And it was gonna be a one-shot by just about anything the hanger threw at it. Even by a simple punch. But baby Mumu kept at it. It only had one card that it could play, and that was the powerful Demon Groin Punch. But the hanger kept moving its groin out of the way, which I thought was quite unfair. Still, Mumu only needed one proper opportunity, and it eventually got it, with a critical hit to the nether regions, putting the hanger down instantly. Anyway, after winning, you'll get the doll head as the prize. Back home, old man Teska will drop by again and put the doll together. But we are not ready to get our filthy hands on a hanger just yet though. We need to make out the ancient writings on the stone plate. What in the diddly does that mean? This is the most baffling thing I've seen in a while, I have to say. Even the next bit of dialogue between Holly and Teska seems really creepy to me. Make a monster read it? What is it? All that we are told is that we need to take the doll to Reno and figure things out on our own. So back to Reno! What we need to do is go right from the starting point, then up, and there will be a skill-based barrier in the way, so take care of that. Then left, left again, and then down, where we will be greeted by another barrier. This one is a power-based one. After getting past it, we'll find the stone tablet. Now, if the monster you brought with you has 500 plus intelligence, then it will be able to decipher the text here. That's it. That's what we came here for. Now it's time to head back. After returning home, you'll notice that your monster has a strange mark on it. Teska will, once again, drop by unannounced and talk about the mark that has mysteriously appeared. All you need to do now is combine this marked monster with any other monster while using the completed doll as the combination item. And you will finally have your very own hanger. That was a pretty long quest, but at least the steps weren't as strange and unknowable as the ones required to get a worm to cocoon. This sort of thing really does give you a sense of accomplishment when you figure everything out without a guide. It's doable too. The doll parts can be found in many of the locations in Reno. And if you found even one, then you would want to find the others too. And Teska does a reasonable job of helping you figure things out. The stone tablet thing is a bit weird, but still doable if you are really into exploration, which is kind of the purpose of these expeditions after all. Hanger stays in the small form for the most part, and only goes into the full form during a battle. But with such a cool robo-friend, the battlefield is probably where you will end up spending most of your time with it anyway. The next secret monster is probably the easiest one to get, as it doesn't really require any work on your part. All you have to do to get it is to keep playing. Yeah, that's it. Well, okay, you do have to visit the item store every now and then, but you would be doing that anyway, as you casually play through the game, so it's not something you have to think about. As the years go by, new items will become available at the store, every 200 weeks to be precise, after your very first visit. There is a specific item we need to unlock, and the earliest that can be done is by the year 1025. But if you're having a blast with Monster Rancher 1, then the years will simply fly by, just like in real life. Eventually, after enough time has passed, you'll unlock the Nya doll. All you have to do is use this doll as a combination item when you combine any two monsters to unlock Nya, or Mew, as fans of Monster Rancher 2 may know it as. Pretty easy, right? I've always been a big fan of Mew myself. What's not to love? Look at how cute it is. But don't make it angry, or that cute thing might tear your eyes out. Before we talk about our last secret monster, let's talk about an oddity first. Perhaps the strangest monster in this game is the one known as Disc. It's a disc. This monster is actually available from the beginning of the game, but apparently it is not possible to get a pure disc from a, disc at the shrine. What you have to do is get some special disc monsters from the shrine. There are two, as far as I know. The first is called Goal and looks like a soccer ball, except it's flat, but sure. The shrine person even mentions that he thought you failed to get a monster at all, only to go on to say that you only got his soul. That might be one of the most cryptic and unsettling things I've ever read. At least it's an official Fimba ball and not a knockoff. On a side note, Disc doesn't appear to have some sort of entity inside it, like with Gali and Monol. It's a thing by itself or something. Pretty weird. Anyway, the other special disc is known as Radial, which is a tire. Great, a ball and a tire. What else could you possibly need? Now then, the only way to get a pure disc is to combine these two discs at the lab. You don't need any special items or anything, but it is odd when you think about it. Whose soul is inside this disc, and how can we get it out? Why isn't it possible to get a pure disc from the shrine, even though we don't need to unlock it? And why do we never see it anywhere in the game? Perhaps some questions are better left unanswered. And that brings us to our final secret monster. This one was a proper mystery back in the day. There was plenty of misinformation surrounding it. It took a while to figure out the exact steps one needed to follow to get it. But don't worry, I'll tell you exactly what you need to do. First, you need to let a monster die. It could be due to old age, or it could be due to more sinister reasons. You just have to put something out of its misery. The easiest way to do it is to take a new monster from the market or the shrine and have it do the mailman work, which would slowly lower its defense. Do it till the defense gets to 1. Then take it to any tournament and allow it to get hit by anything. It should take 999 damage, which is the maximum. Afterwards, your monster should be taken out of the tournament entirely. And when you get back to the ranch, you'll find out that it's gone forever. Maybe you are the real monster. Anyway, give it a funeral if you're a decent person. Or not, it doesn't matter. Next, go to the shrine and get a new monster. The market could also work, but make sure it's a new monster. Now, take it to the ranch and enter a tournament with it within the next 15 weeks. You don't need to win. When your monster gets back to the ranch, there is a 1 in 16 chance of it becoming cursed. If you don't get the cutscene for it, that means it didn't happen, so try again. Once you do get the RNG to go your way, Holly will mention that a strange mark has appeared on your new friend. It's too late. The curse is in full effect now. If you check the stats, you will notice that your monster's life stat has been reduced significantly. You can also check the mark for yourself if you want to. For pixies, the mark appears right above the, jiggly bits. I can't believe they took the time to include jiggle physics for Pixie way back then. The developers of this game had their priorities right. All that's left to do now is combine this cursed monster with another one. And the result will be the ghost of your previous fallen friend. Or that's what I like to think anyway. But yeah, now you have a ghost. It's very cute, that's for sure. And it's very capable in battle if you train it right. You can now get the special ghost known as Mage from your CDs. Awesome. And there you have it. Which secret did you enjoy the most? Which ones did you randomly stumble upon on your own? How many hours did you spend checking out Pixie's jiggle physics? Do let me know everything in the comments. But while we may have uncovered the strange and often bizarre entities hiding within this game, there are many more that still need to be found. But don't worry, we'll get to them soon enough. They can't go on hiding forever after all. In fact, nothing stays hidden forever. Until next time, take care of yourselves and make sure that there aren't any monsters hiding under your bed tonight.